Smart Parts specializes in high-end paintball equipment. A number of years ago, the industry had a serious problem in that the paint guns were only accurate to 20 to 30 yards. As captain of the All-Americans, I was constantly striving to improve the performance of paint guns. What I came up with was the patented Smart Parts rifle barrel. It's called airport rifling. It's a number of holes drilled through the barrel at angles. And what we have is two columns of air, one that precedes the ball and one that follows the ball. We take these columns of air, we drive them through the small ported holes across the ball, and this produces a spin. About 2 revolutions in 40 yards. It's a very light projectile. You barely want to spin it. And this has made the barrel, well, the guns, extremely accurate. In fact, now we're shooting over 100 yards accurately. In fact, it's the standard in the industry. All the top teams use this barrel. It's basically the best barrel out there. One of the main suggestions I have for the new player, if you're going to get in and play this sport, you have to have competitive equipment at any level. Sure, the pros, they need the top guns, but if you're competing with other amateurs, you need a good gun too. I guess the suggestion is go out there and invest in a quality gun the first time out. If you're going to stay with the sport, it makes a big difference. It makes it much more fun, enjoyable. You can make the 60 to 80 yard shots. Go out there, go to your local field, use the guns the people are using, ask somebody to borrow the gun, and make a good decision with that first purchase, or you'll do what we do and we bought everything there was to buy, and we had to learn the hard way.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because if you go to a field, paintball players are really willing and eager to help you with your equipment, and if you ask them, if you say, hey, that paint gun really looks like a good one, I'm thinking about purchasing it, he'll often let you try it for a game and shoot it, and you'll get the feel for whether that's the right paint gun for you, rather than spending a lot of money shooting it and then making the mistake and finding out it really isn't. It's a lot better to make an informed purchase rather than just going out and buying the first thing that you see.
Yeah, there's a lot of specialty equipment which is designed primarily for paintball. Camouflage is cut in such a way, etc., that it's comfortable, it fits the needs of the player. You go out and ask your local paintball field, find a field and ask the players to see the equipment. You'll find paintballers are a great bunch of guys, and they'll really be willing to help you. Camouflage is a big issue for top pro players. We're constantly striving to find a camouflage that will hide us in a number of different environments. You go to California, you play in the desert, you need one color of camouflage. You play down in Tennessee, you need a very dark. There are some basic rules, though. Too light a color gives you away. It's an unnatural color. And if it's too dark, if it's like all black, you look like a black glob on the ground. I mean, it's very easy. The eye picks out the color. What you want is a natural, something that that breaks up the pattern, whatever the terrain you're in.
Yeah, and in addition to the type of camouflage that you wear and the color issues, you want to also keep in mind that you want to wear a long sleeve camouflage, something that's going to protect you, as well as make you comfortable when you're playing. It's always a lot more enjoyable when you don't have to worry about feeling the paintballs and things like that. So try to pick a camouflage that you're comfortable with, because you're going to be in it, for the whole day, and it makes it for a lot better and more enjoyable paintball.
And one other thing about camouflage, most camouflage is designed so that it hides you when you don't move. A lot of players make the mistake of going out there and buying that camouflage, and then they don't move slowly in close quarter situations. You have to realize you have to move your head very slowly. When you get in tight and you're in close quarters, sometimes you can be as close as 6-7 feet and not see the player. But if you move your head quickly, if you twitch, you're going to give your position away. So move slowly, use the camouflage, and it'll work for you. Moving is very important, but shooting is maybe the most important thing in paintball. Basically, there are two types of shooting. One is point shooting, and the other is long-range shooting. Point shooting involves quick reaction time. You're in tight on cover. You've got to snap out, squeeze the trigger, all in one motion, launch that ball, and come back in. You have to shoot the player before he has a chance to return fire. It's usually done at closer range and with heavy cover. The other type of shooting is long-range shooting. That involves much more steady aim, controlled breathing, relax. But you have to practice shooting. I mean, you don't just get there.
Yeah, that's really where the equipment comes into play too, because the best shot in the world, it's not going to do you any good if you have the wrong barrel or the wrong paint and you come up for that good shot and your equipment doesn't let you make the shot that you're capable of making. So keep that in mind when you go to purchase your equipment and choose your equipment that you're going to use, because you're really counting on it to enable you to perform at the level you're capable of.
Well, one of the big advantages we use Smart Parts barrels. Gives us the range. We can outrange any team out there that uses another brand of barrel. We're outranging them by maybe 5-10 yards. And our groups are tighter, and that makes a big difference.
Yeah, it definitely does. One of the key things that I've tried to teach the players on our team to do, and they've learned to do it very well, is a thing that I call counting. And it's a very simple when you think about it, but often players overlook it. If you know you're playing in a 5-man tournament, you have 5 players and your opponent has 5 players. If you're working and communicating and you see that your opponent has lost 2 players, then you realize that they have 3 left. And if you communicate with your teammates and figure out that 2 of your opponents are on one tape line, that may mean that only 1 player is guarding the whole other side of the field. And then you can work with your teammates to make your aggressive moves and your attacks towards that 1 player where you have a numerical advantage.
Well, the other suggestion I have is when you start out your communication, keep it simple. Under the stress of playing and trying to figure out what's going on in the field, start out with basic communication. Perfect one signal and then move on to the next. To go on to a further subject, I mean, as far as improving, the biggest mistake made in paintball, and not just at amateur level, at the professional level, is shooting and moving. The movement on the field, basically. If everyone on the team moves at once, then it's easy for the other team to pick you off. No one's shooting, so they just take a good aim and basically hit you. If everyone is shooting at the same time, there's no pressure on the other team to move or to expose something, so they tuck in tight, take a good shot, take their shots carefully, and again they have the advantage. But if you coordinate the shooting and the moving, 2 guys are shooting, 1 is moving into position, they have to react to the movement. And that reaction is what gives you the advantage. The more you refine the shooting and movement, or basically the movement of the team, coordinated movement, the better your chances of winning.
Yeah, with that in mind, keep in mind that paintball revolves around that flag, and it is a timed game. So try to have your players aware of how much time is left in the game and focused on that goal of getting the other team's flag within that time limit.
And don't be afraid to try anything. The way we learn is by trying. It may be a nutty tactic. Nutty tactics work, even on the pro side. Many times maybe we get an uneven field, a field that's just impossible to win. So you go for the unexpected. You go for the last thing they'd expect. And sometimes that pays off, and you learn what works and what doesn't work.